Hello friend, this is host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another video to give a review on another books. So if you guys wanted to buy any one of these best-selling book, you can visit our Amazon page and buy it from there. So the book which we're going to see today and going to give a review on is the A Path to Peace and Prosperity. This book is by Dr. Muhammad Naveed Akbar. In this book, we will learn that how we can build a beautiful world. As we have completed our 5 chapters of this book in the last videos, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch our videos on our channel. So without wasting our time, let's continue from the chapter 6, which is the power of education, creating a brighter future. Education is the best weapon that humans possess to build a better world. Education is the keystone upon which societies are constructed, the push that forces progress, and the tool used to unlock potential. All inventions, medical advancements, medical advancements, social movements, and technological developments were energized by the knowledge inherited through generations. Without education, human civilization would human civilization would grind to a halt, stuck in a pattern of ignorance and constraint. But merely education is not merely a is not merely a matter of amassing facts or learning skills. It is a matter of developing wisdom, curiosity, and critical thinking. It shows individuals how to ask questions, how to create, and how to feel for others. Real real education does not just teach, it transforms. It raises people out of Poverty enables them to control their own futures and provides them to control their own futures and provides them with the instruments to survive an increasingly complex world. But even with its undeniable value, education is one of the most disproportionately allocated resources in the world. Millions of children continue to be denied access to quality schooling and date systems and out of continue to deny access to quality schooling and out of date systems do not equip students for the demands of the contemporary world. To genuinely create a better future, we have to the way transform the way we think about education. Make it accessible, flexible, and responsive to individuals and society alike. 6.1 Education, the key to empowerment. At its essence, education is empowerment. Education provides people with skills and knowledge necessary to make good choices, make valuable contributions to society, and make good choices, make valuable contributions, escape cycles of poverty and oppression. The educated individual is less easy to manipulate, less willing to tolerate injustice, and more able to control his own fate. For oppressed groups, learning is the most effective resistance to institutionalized inequality. In cultures that deprive women and minorities of, of opportunity, education offers a door to liberty and self definition. When a young girl has an opportunity to be educated, she acquires something more than information. She acquires something more than information. She acquires the power to imagine a different life for herself. One is which she is not bound by the definition of others. But empowerment through education is not just about access, it is quality. A weakly constructed education system that a weakly constructed education system that prioritizes learning over analytical thinking does not empower its students at all. To create meaningful change, education has become to create meaningful change, education to be has to be dynamic, stimulating, and appropriate to the actual world. It has to inspire curiosity, build resilience, it has to inspire curiosity, build resilience, and educate learners to react to new challenges. 6.2, breaking the cycle of poverty through education. Breaking the cycle of poverty through education. Poverty is perhaps the most enduring obstacle to advancement, holding millions in a cycle of survival with little prospect of environment. But education can shatter this cycle, giving people the skills they need to find secure employment, raise their norms, secure employment, raise their incomes, and build improved lives for themselves and their families. A poor child is frequently deprived of the same chances a more affluent classmates. Restricted access to good schools, inadequate inadequate learning resources, and financial constraints that drive children to labor rather than the classroom all serve to perpetuate the cycle of poverty. Yet, when education takes precedence, the cycle is broken. The cycle is broken. Research indicates that even several years of education can substantially increase an individual's likelihood of rising above poverty, resulting in greater earnings, improved health, and more opportunities. The economic dividends of education benefit more than the individual. More literate communities see reduced crime, healthier economies, and better public health. Investing in education is not merely an ethical imperative, it is an economic policy that takes nations out of poverty by making every child, regardless of their origin, have access to quality education. Societies can make the world a more equitable and prosperous place. Quality education for all, breaking down barriers. Though universally accepted, though universally accepted is the right to education, millions continue to be denied access to quality learning due to barriers. In some nations, schools lack proper funding and are crowded with children being compelled to learn in less than ideal conditions. In others, political and cultural obstacles deny education to particular groups, notably and marginalized groups. Geographic location also plays a significant role in educational inequality. Rural areas often lack rural areas often lack schools, qualified teachers, and resources, forcing children to walk long distances or drop out altogether. In conflict zones, education becomes a casualty of war, with schools destroyed and children displaced. Technology provides a solution to part of these challenges. Online education platforms, mobile classrooms, and digital materials can deliver education to remote and underserved communities. Online education, mobile platforms, mobile classrooms, and digital materials can deliver education to remote and underserved communities. But technology is not sufficient by itself. Governments need to be committed to making education a priority, ensuring that teachers are adequately trained and supported. Infrastructure is well maintained and policies are in place to make education genuinely inclusive. Learning cannot be a right granted to granted to the privileged few alone. It has to be a right inherent to everyone. Eradicating obstacles to learning requires coordination among governments, NGOs, corporations, and individuals, all working together to educate and empower the global citizenry. 6.4, education as a catalyst for social change. Throughout history, education has been the impetus for social change. It has powered revolutions, toppled oppressive regimes, and empowered people. To fight for justice from the civil rights movement to the battle for gender equality. Education has been instrumental in creating a more just society. An educated society is an educated society is a strong society when individuals are educated, they tend to participate in civic activities, go out to vote during elections, and demand accountability from their leaders. They also tend to avoid being manipulated by propaganda, false information, and polarizing ideologies. Education builds critical thinking skills, making individuals question the established order and strive for a better tomorrow. However, not all education, in some cases, outdated curriculums reinforce prejudices and discourage independent thought. True education must go beyond textbooks and exams. It much it must teach it must teach students to think critically about the world around them, challenge injustice and embrace diversity. Education is the key. Education is the key to democracy, equality, and peace. A learning, prioritizing society is a society that keeps changing, moving towards more justice and more inclusiveness. If we want to create a world that is better, we need to make sure that education is that education is that that education is not merely about knowledge acquisition but about applying the knowledge to make a difference. Technology in education, the digital revolution. The advent of technology has revolutionized education in ways previously unimaginable. With the internet, information is no longer limited to classrooms or books. Classrooms or books. Students can access a tremendous amount of information, communicate with teachers from across the globe, and learn at their own pace. At their own pace. Online classes, virtual reality, simulations, and artificial intelligence based tutoring systems are changing the way individuals learn. Yet technology in education global is a double sword. While it can narrow educational disparities, it may also increase them. Not all are equipped with the requisite devices, internet access, or digital skills needed to take advantage of online learning. The digital divide continues to be an issue where disadvantaged groups are left out of the benefits of technology. For digital learning to unleash its full power, governments and institutions needs to invest in infrastructure, training, and access equality. Technology can augment conventional education, not be a substitute, not be a substitute. Online platforms, as wonderful as they are, cannot replace the worth of interpersonal contact, mentoring, and the on the job learning. The issue is to have have balance and use technology so that it enhancing the power of learning instead of weakening it. Sustainable education practices teaching for the future. Education needs to only equip students with the skills needed for today's world, but also with the tools to tackle tomorrow tomorrow's challenges. Sustainable education is more than just as usual. It teaches students a sense of responsibility toward towards the planet, ethical leadership, and global citizenship. It focuses on long-term thinking, innovation, and the capacity to adapt to change. Implementing supplementing in education involves implementing sustainability in education involves edu- educating learners on environmental conservation, renewable resources, and social effects of economic choices. Schools need to go away with outmoded curriculums that emphasize purely industrial era competencies and focus on equipping learners for an increasingly changing world where climate change, resource consumption and emerging technologies will dictate their future. Aside from content, sustainability has to be embodied in how schools functions. Green school facilities, minimal paper usage, and energy conserving practices model students' behavior. Students' behavior demonstrating that sustainability is not a concept but a lifestyle. Schools that incorporate experiential projects like community community gardens, recycling programs, and conservation projects encourage students to feel a sense of individual responsibility toward the environment. Education ought to encourage students as change makers, empowering them with the means to design solutions for everyday issues. Once young people know that their decisions count, they are at the forefront of creating a more equitable and sustainable world. Lifelong learning, the journey never ends. Learning does not stop at graduation. In a world full of perpetual change, the skill of continuing to learn is more than any one degree. Lifelong learning guarantees that flexible, people are flexible, resilient, and able to grow throughout their lifespan. Industries change, technologies evolve, and the needs of societies and the needs of society change. The jobs of the future even be present today, might not be present today. So lifelong learning becomes a requirement and not an option. Individuals who to adapt to lifelong learning stay ahead in the workforce, discovering new prospects even as old sectors decline. But professional success is only a small part of what lifelong learning is all about. Personal enrichment, growing in one's knowledge, brings greater awareness, enhanced sensitivity, and an engaged existence. When whether online classes, reading books, travel abroad, or taking a mentor under one's wing, people who commit themselves to lifelong learning are not just improving themselves but the world in which they live. Governments and corporations must facilitate lifelong learning through accessible education programs for everybody regardless of age. Universities, libraries, and online platforms must make it possible for individuals to pursue further education beyond classrooms. A society that promotes lifelong learning is one that benefits from innovation, creativity, and development. The role of teachers shaping future generations. Teachers are at the center of schooling. Their power goes far beyond the classroom door, influencing what students learn and even how they think, behave, and understand the world around them. Inspirational teachers teach kids to love learning, are confident themselves, and equip young people with critical thinking skills essential for success in life. But in much of the world, but in much of the world, teachers are underpaid and undervalued. Overcrowded classrooms, antiquated textbooks, and minimal professional development opportunities complicate their work. If education is really a, a priority, then society must invest in teachers, providing them with training, support, and the recognition they need. The greatest teachers don't just pass on facts, they inspire. They get students to look beyond textbooks and test scores, challenging them to think about ideas, ask questions, and form their own opinions. An elite education system doesn't depend on technology or infrastructure. It depends on passionate committed teachers who have faith in their students' abilities. So this is all we have from this book. I hope you guys like the book, like the information that I tried to give in this book. So I'll be back with another videos with another books. Till then, just take care and goodbye.